What is good, YouTube? It's your boy OG Nonboy back with another video, and in today's video I have a pretty, it kind of is classic but also kind of isn't just because of the safe swap, but this is a core of Swampert and Noctowl, and then instead of having, something like a Sableye, which you typically see as a safe swap, or another flyer, we do have the Froslass here, and this team I got from Rise to Occasions channel, and I did think that Froslass was a pretty interesting pick on the safe swap, so decided to give this team a try, and let's see how I was able to perform with it here. So first match, we have an Azu lead, and this lead isn't the best lead, but it also isn't too terrible either. Like, it's definitely still playable, especially if you can land the Earthquakes here. So I'm gonna throw the Earthquake right away, no baiting here. Opponent lets it go, and I'm gonna catch the move on my Froslass. I'm more or less just gonna be sacrificing it here. We do kind of get hard countered by a Stunfisk here, and we're gonna throw the Avalanche. A Rock Slide would take us out, and they already had it too, so I was kind of scared that they'd throw. I'm just happy to get off whatever damage that I can in this scenario. So opponent gonna throw the Rock Slide to take me out here, gonna bring the Swampert back in, and they're gonna get to a move here, so I'm gonna go ahead and shield this up, as an Earthquake would just about take us out from this range. So now I'm going to over farm quite a bit here, and I don't even want to take a Rock Slide, so I do throw the move here, but I do have a Hydro Cannon locked and loaded. They decide to shield that, so I'm just going to throw my next one, not play around here. So opponent shielding twice, so this kind of makes me inclined to shield this move here. It's going to be another Earthquake, and they bring the Azumarill back in here, so I'm going to go for another Earthquake to take out the Azu, and then we'll see what the opponent has in the back here. So let's see here, opponent waiting out the switch timer. So it turns out they have their own Noctowl. I'm going to swap into my Noctowl, but honestly, could have also just stayed in and gotten a Hydro Cannon off first. But at this point, it should be okay as long as they don't catch a move on, I forget what Pokemon it was, the Stunfisk. So I'm going to be cognizant of that while playing out this matchup here. So they're going to beat us by like one wing attack to the Sky Attacks here, but this Sky Attack doesn't KO. And then I'm going to throw right away here, and now they bring the Stunfisk back in here, but it doesn't really matter. I'm going to go for a full farm down, and they're forced to throw in this scenario, so I'm going to be able to get one mud shot in here, and I should outpace the Noctowl to the move here. So I'm going to be able to get this Hydro Cannon off and take this match here. So GG's to the opponent. A little bit of a rough lead, but we're still able to kind of maneuver around it. So next match here, we have a Sableye lead, and this is kind of decent, but one Hydro Cannon doesn't quite KO from this range. So I'm going to keep building up here, and I'm going to shield the first foul play. Thing with the Shadow Swampert is you are very spammy, and you can get to the fast moves pretty quickly, and they do hit pretty hard, but it is a little bit rough in terms of the bulk, obviously. So I kind of don't know about this play necessarily, bringing in the Froslass while a shield down, and I allowed them to get the Psychic off because I don't want to go 2 shields down. And here I'm going to be throwing my Avalanche, and I shouldn't have thrown on CMP here, since now it's going to be kind of rough since I do have a move, and I'm going to be inclined to shield in order to get my next move off. So if I'd thrown one before, I would have been able to throw both of them off and either gotten both their shields or taken them out, but now this way I do have to go down a shield, so not in a too favorable of a position here. And then they farm me down with the Sableye, so now I'm going to bring in the Noctowl, just because one foul play would KO my Swampert here. And they actually managed to catch the move on a Bastiodon, so this isn't over yet, just because the Swampert does have quite a dominant matchup against the Bastiodon here, but I kind of make a mistake, and I do not overfarm at all here, so they're going to be able to reach a foul play here, and I'm going to have to reach 2 moves on my Noctowl to take out this Sableye, since they do have a shield left, and this is going to be pretty tricky here. I think they probably will outpace us at this point, since they did have residual energy, and now at this point they just have to make it to a return before I get to 2 Sky Attacks. and another move coming through here, and if this is the return, then it will be a GG's for me. So definitely could have won that game if I just played it a little bit differently in the end there, like the mistake I mentioned with the Froslass and also farming up extra energy with the Swampert against the Bastiodon. But here they have a Galarian Stunfisk lead, and then they bring in an Azumarill. So we're seeing the Azu again. We don't really have the best answer to an Azumarill, so I'm going to try to damage them a little bit or get a shield with the Earthquake before swapping into the Froslass. But they actually know Hydro Pump, so this is not good for us since the opponent is definitely going to be able to maintain alignment in their favor. They're going to be able to win Switchback here if they just invest their final shield. So they're also throwing here. I'm going to shield this just because if I do get the next Shadow Ball off, I will be taking the Azumarill out, and that way I would have Switchback. But opponent, of course, recognizing that getting alignment is very important for them, so now this is going to be pretty rough. I'm going to bring my Noctowl in and hope that my Swampert can basically 2v1 the Galarian Stunfisk and whatever else is in the back. Gonna get hit by another Hydro Cannon here, or Hydro Pump rather. And I'm over farming so they don't catch a move on their Stunfisk. But opponent just staying in here, and I anticipate the Stunfisk coming back in, but I throw the Shadow Ball just so that now the Stunfisk will be in Hydro Cannon range. And it does end up being a Trevenant in the back, so I don't know why I go for an Earthquake here. So I'm pretty sure the move was to go for 2 Hydro Cannons. But I thought I needed a Hydro Cannon and an Earthquake to knock out the Trevenant, but I think that is only for regular Swampert. So I think from here, 2 Hydro Cannons would have been okay. We will end up taking out the Trevenant here, but the Stunfisk in the back does have some energy, so they're going to be able to outpace us to a move here. And this ends up being just a Rock Slide, but it is enough to knock us out, and then we're just going to lose here. So again, some misplays here. And then next match here we have the Medicham lead. So I'm going to swap immediately into the Froslass. I know that a lot of times with this team, it could be the team that I have showcased before on my channel with Medicham, Noctowl, and Lantern. So here I'm going to bait out the Lantern just so that my Noctowl does avoid it in the back. And my Swampert should be able to take care of the Lantern here pretty handily. I'm going to go for the Avalanche here. And opponent not shielding that. And that was CMP, so that was the correct play there in this instance. So now I'm going to get a pretty nice farm down on my Swampert. So the Medicham does come back in here. So this is an okay position since we're probably going to have a Noctowl mirror match in the back. But I'm going to bring my Noctowl in first just to get ahead on some energy. Going to shield this move here, and we should be in a pretty solid position here. So it actually ends up being a Gliscor, so would have preferred to have the Swampert on this, but this is not a bad position at all either, because as you're going to see here, the Gliscor actually doesn't hit that hard with these Night Slashes. They kind of just tickle a little bit, but they do get to them quite fast. But another Sky Attack here is going to be threatening the final shield or to take them out. And at this point, it's a pretty comfortable position. They're going to get another Night Slash off. I don't even have to shield this one. And I'm going to build up to the next Sky Attack, get it off, and now since we have a shield left, we just have to take out the Medicham with our Swampert here, and 1 Earthquake should just about do it from this range. But I decide to be safe here and go for 2 Hydro Cannons just because we will be able to do that pretty comfortably here. So they get off a move, but we win CMP even if they had another move stored. And yeah, we're going to be able to take this match pretty comfortably here. So a lot of kind of suboptimal play with this team, as you can see in this video, just because it was one of my first sets. And sometimes it's just the way it is, but it's always good to kind of analyze your plays and learn from them. And also, I make these mistakes so you guys don't have to, right? So you can learn from me, and you don't have to mess up quite as bad when you play the team. But here I'm going to get the Hydro Cannon off after building up to the Earthquake, and they're going to throw the Foul Play here. I'm going to get off the next Hydro Cannon. No need to build up to another Earthquake, because you're gonna have to shield first if you do that, and they do let the Hydro Cannon through, and I'm gonna bring my Froslass in here to tank this Foul Play, which is kind of a questionable play, but opponent actually bringing in a Noctowl, so we're gonna be able to get a shield back here, and this is now a pretty good scenario for us here. So I'm gonna bring my own Noctowl in, and we do have a shield, so we'll be able to take them out, and we'll leave the matchup most likely with a little bit of stored energy. And I feel like a lot of times with this team, you do see a Lantern in the back, if I'm not mistaken. So that's why I decide to bring my Noctowl in here. I miscount a little bit, and I end up throwing on the CMP tie here, which is a little bit unfortunate. Since ideally we would have wanted to overfarm a little bit, but we were pretty low regardless, and it actually ends up being a Stunfisk. So it's a good thing we did preserve our Swampert here. They do try to catch a move, and because they tried that and it failed, they realized that the game is over. So able to still go positive in the set, but definitely could have won all 5 games with this team if I had played optimally. So overall, very solid team. Froslass definitely a solid pick on the safe swap, and not one that you see too often, but it kind of is gaining in popularity a little bit. But yeah, that's all for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and also submit your battles in the link in the description below, and I'll see you in the next one.